The President of Ukraine has announced a shakeup of the leadership at state-owned enterprises operating in the energy sector. He shared this information on social media. A new supervisory board is to be elected at Energoatom, and the company's management will be changed. An urgent competition will be held to select a new head of Ukrohydroenergo. The supervisory board of the company will also be re-elected. At Naftogaz of Ukraine, changes will take place at the beginning of next year after the contracts of the current supervisory board members expire, but in such a way that the new composition can start working as early as January 2026. The renewal of state representatives on the supervisory board should also take place in other major state-owned energy companies. Part of the Chernihiv region is without electricity, according to the local power distribution company. As a result of enemy shelling, a critical energy facility in the Nizhyn district was damaged. Energy workers are carrying out emergency repair and restoration work.
Due to the shelling in the Chernihiv region, 332,000 consumers were left without power. Within a few hours, we quickly implemented the planned backup power schemes, which really helped us. This allowed us to almost halve the number of consumers without power, down to 173,500 as of today. Given the situation, the alert is still partially ongoing. As soon as the military allows us, we immediately resume our work.
A police officer was killed in the Kharkiv district as a result of a Russian FPV drone strike on a service vehicle. The attack happened this morning. In addition, the enemy shelled populated areas with various types of weapons. In the Kharkiv, Bohodukhiv, and Lozova districts, guided aerial bombs and drones were used. Last night, the Defense Forces shot down 91 enemy drones out of 138 aerial targets. This was reported by the Air Force. The occupiers attacked Skorska, Milorovo, Orla, Primorska, Akhtarska, and Bryanska. Strikes were recorded at 13 locations in the north, south, and east of the country. The number of victims has increased as a result of another massive and combined strike on Kyiv during the night of November 13th to 14th. This morning, a woman died in the hospital from injuries she had sustained. At present, it is known that 7 people have died. The number of wounded has risen to 36. 9 out of 10 districts of the capital came under attack. Anna Ujvenko visited the affected sites and saw the scale of the destruction with her own eyes.
We got a call at night saying that the apartment had been cleared and they asked if anyone was there. We said that our parents were there. We arrived and our parents had been buried under the rubble.
Kyiv resident Irina talks about the tragic consequences of the Russian attack in the Desnyansky district of the capital. Fires broke out in 2 residential buildings, one of which was where her parents died.
Why? Just one question, why? These people, they had only been back from the village for 5 days. They spent the winter there during the heating season. The body has just been brought out.
At the time of the attack, Anna was in the apartment on the 2nd floor with her family. The woman was most worried about her child.
The child's first reaction was to start crying uncontrollably. She had a panic attack. We came outside into the yard and she kept crying a lot. Some woman came over to comfort her and gave her a blanket. When the blast wave blew the door off, I thought those were the last moments of my life. I just thought that a Shahed drone was about to hit, that we were talking now, but we were about to be buried under the rubble. And when that man started banging on the door and shouting for everyone to get out, I thought the building was probably already collapsing. And I wasn't so much afraid for myself as I was for my child.
And now, this is already the Obolonsky district of the capital. Here too, an enemy drone struck a residential apartment building. Natalia's father was injured.
My parents. The elderly can't stay in the shelter. My father is 85. He refuses to go to the shelter because he can't stay there. Do you understand? This is what gets damaged. My father was sleeping. You can see the pillows are covered in blood. The ambulance took him away. Thank you to the rescue service for responding immediately. The ambulances arrived quickly, so in that regard, everything was very good.
Natalia's neighbor, Tetiana, lives 1 floor above. Her apartment on the 9th floor became the epicenter of the fire.
There was another room, a rather ordinary-looking space, where absolutely everything suddenly caught fire. and the kitchen too. And the rescuers broke down the doors and let us out because there was a lot of smoke here. We couldn't see anything. We didn't turn to anyone for help. We came ourselves, told them where to go, took care of everything ourselves. And they told us, now you have to spend the night here. What is this?
Around 4 in the morning, an enemy drone struck an apartment building in the Obolonsky district. The fire broke out on the upper floors. An emergency response headquarters was immediately set up at the scene. Police officers are working at the site, continuously taking statements from affected citizens.
The Sviatoshinsky district suffered significant damage. Fires broke out in 2 residential buildings there. There was also a recorded fall of debris or shrapnel in one of the courtyards.
Everything fell down. There's nothing left in the apartment. Nothing. There are no walls, nothing at all. I'm not in a state yet to plan everything out. I'm still not in a state to do all this. For now, I'm just standing here on the street, that's all. And I have no thoughts at all. But still, they won't destroy us. They won't destroy us no matter what, even like this.
There was an explosion and all the windows just collapsed inward into the apartment. And that's when we started getting ready, putting on clothes, backpacks on our shoulders, and the state emergency service said that everyone needed to evacuate. We're alive, and that was the most important thing, that everyone in our family is alive.
Overall, 9 out of 10 districts of the capital came under massive attack by Russia. In
total, since the very night, rescuers have been working at more than 20 in 5 locations across the city of Kyiv. An enormous number of locations. Unfortunately, most of them are residential buildings. Civilian infrastructure was also affected, including kindergartens. An embassy was also damaged. In other words, today's strike was aimed exclusively at civilian infrastructure and residential buildings.
Anna Uzhvenko, Maxim Maslenikov, National Marathon, United News.
On the night of November 14th, Ukraine's defense forces struck several strategic points in the aggressor country. This was reported by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. In particular, the ship base in Novorossiysk, Krasnodar Krai, an oil refinery in Russia's Saratov region, and a fuel and lubricants storage site near Engels. At the oil refinery, the target was confirmed hit, with explosions and subsequent fires recorded at the facility. During the attack, Ukrainian weaponry was used, including Neptune missiles and various types of strike UAVs. Ukrainians have submitted 1 million applications to receive winter support of 1,000 hryvnias. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky provided more details about this initiative in his video address. He emphasized that the money should be received within 10 days after submitting the relevant application.
The funds can be spent not only this year but also next year until June. They can be used to pay for utilities, medicine, Ukrainian products, and Ukrainian books. And of course, you will be able to donate this money to volunteers and foundations that support our Ukrainian army.
A criminal case has been opened at the Odesa Zoo due to suspicions of animal cruelty. Attention to the zoo increased after negative posts on social media and statements from certain animal rights organizations. The zoo director calls this a massive hate attack and denies any violence against the animals. More details about the situation in the report by Svetlana Dovshuk.
An exhausted lioness, a dead ostrich, and small enclosures for predators. At the beginning of November, a public organization published a post claiming animal cruelty at the Odesa Zoo.
The Odesa Zoo does not provide proper conditions for its animals. Numerous photos and videos are circulating on social media showing exhausted, sick, and even dead animals.
Activists reported that they had contacted the police and the State Environmental Inspectorate. The latter conducted an unscheduled inspection in April, found violations, and issued an order to eliminate them. They are currently awaiting approval from the Ministry of Economy for a repeat inspection.
A number of significant violations were found regarding the conditions of keeping the animals, specifically relating to the overall size and adequacy of the enclosures in which they are kept. These issues were identified during a thorough inspection process. The zoo sent us official letters explaining, in detail, to what extent they can comply with these orders and to what extent they cannot, clearly stating that this is related to the availability of funding. We will respond accordingly as we carry out the inspection process.
Director Ihor Bilyakov stated that a massive wave of hate has been unleashed against the zoo with the spread of fake materials. According to him, it was the former tenants who were recently evicted from the territory of the zoo who started publishing these materials, and it was precisely these materials that became the basis for opening a criminal case.
These tenants promised me that they wouldn't leave so easily. There are a lot of such fakes, for example. An ostrich is sleeping, lying down asleep, and they film it and write that a dead ostrich is lying there. Or we have a lioness who is 21 years old. This is a point of pride for us, because if a lion lives to be 21, it speaks to our very caring and compassionate attitude toward this animal. But they film her, this old lioness, and then write that we tortured her, starved her to death. A lion. Or they film a shot from 6 or 7 years ago. According to
the inspector's conclusions, the enclosures for lions, leopards, hyenas, and hyena-like dogs are too small. The zoo director explains that reconstruction and expansion of animal enclosures is underway, but it's happening too slowly due to limited funding.
Here's the leopard. Here's its enclosure. It's really too small by today's standards. When this complex was built, the standards were different. Now they've changed. We just can't keep up because we've done a lot in recent years. And we've done it with funds from the city budget, and we've also done a lot with our own resources.
At present, a pre-trial investigation is underway. Law enforcement officers are checking reports about the possible deaths of zoo animals due to improper care and feeding.
Right now, the prosecution is specifically investigating these facts mentioned in publications, on social media, and in the mass media. Specifically, possible cruel treatment, improper conditions of keeping, and inadequate feeding. Because initiating criminal proceedings under Article 299 of the Criminal Code concerns cruelty to animals. No one has been notified of suspicion at this time. The pretrial investigation is ongoing. Also, as part of the proceedings, we are currently awaiting responses to our inquiries from relevant institutions.
Odesa public activist and animal rights advocate Yana Tetarenko agrees that the Odesa Zoo has a large number of problems. However, she does not believe that the animals are in a terrible condition.
Since the beginning of the full-scale invasion, the zoo has only been receiving funds for feeding and treating the animals, as well as for employee salaries. No infrastructure projects, major construction or repairs are provided for. It's simply a restriction on funding. Talking about the zoo being able to expand enclosures or build better, more modern enclosures is simply out of the question, because there is currently no available funding for that. Regarding the issue of animal cruelty, I have personally known the zoo director for many years and have never seen anything in his actions or character that would suggest he could ever be involved in mistreating animals.
While the investigation is ongoing, the zoo management is developing a city program for the institution's development. If it is approved, the institution will receive additional funding.